Om. Namaste, welcome everyone to Satsang today. Om. And of course, welcome to our many friends around the world who are joining us via internet to have Satsang in real time with us here in Rishikesh. Big welcome to everybody. And I want you to just to hold in your heart that these for now will just the last few days, today and tomorrow. And if you have a question you would like to bring, then it has to be something that really is a freedom question, more than just what I call a knowledge question. You know, we have talked about this before, that freedom, a knowledge question is about information. How did this happen, and you know, how can I go about doing this, and so on, so on, so on. But a freedom question is really quite different. It can feel like a risk because you're offering up your entire life to see if something can be transformed by what you will, by the response you will get, or where you're being directed to. So freedom questions are, of course, most welcome. Knowledge questions, of course, they have their place also. So I'm not being so rigid about this. I just want you to hold that in your heart before we start, as we are about to start now. Okay, very good. Can you come? Namaste.
Something just wants to be exposed in front of you. Last few days were very strong for me and very, very challenging. And I see, especially like yesterday, I noticed how much the mind is tending to be arrogant, how much is the arrogance is building up just unnoticed, step by step, and it feels that I'm not even able to love you, like as if it is in the way of all what I can call as good, as it is the source of all that notions and the desires to be loved and appreciated, loved by the others and by myself in return.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to hear something, actually. Listen to this. The ego mind is stronger than your person. The ego mind is stronger than your person. What it means is that somehow the person, which is where the consciousness is adopted, the mode of a person, believing itself to be the body and the conditioning that arises in the body, that then manifests as what you may call yourself or your personal self. And this is still consciousness, it is still a form of consciousness. But this identity as a person is going to grow up with certain insecurities, because it is never complete actually. It will have desires and fears and attachments, judgments. All these things will come for the person. And they will come through the ego. So, in fact, this is, if you understand it as a play, and you understand the way the game works, actually, you will see that your only chance is to escape the personhood. Person has to become presence. The personhood state must become presence. That's the first step, major step. As presence, the presence is not a person. It is neither male nor female. It is perhaps you can say, the earliest and purest reflection of the Absolute as manifestation. Sometimes I may regard it as the lens of the Absolute, through which the Absolute can somehow manifest as diversity and perceive the diversity through this lens, the sense I am. This is when you say I, we all feel the sense I or I am. The true importance of I am is consciousness, unmixed. But everyone is compelled in the beginning to identify the I am as person. It starts from soon as as a child, you begin to imbibe these kind of qualities. The belief, I am this body, male body, I'm a boy, female body, I'm a girl, and so on. And as soon as these basic identifications, they solidify, other ideas can build on top of this one. So, the consciousness, which is really what the person is, but it's taking itself as a person, is living in a very contracted form of consciousness. And it will feel the sense of growing because it has to grow out of the tightness of a person, you see. But that takes time. And gradually it begins to feel some attraction for the higher state of consciousness, the higher state of consciousness. When you begin to learn how to observe your actions rather than simply identify with them as a reflex, you begin to feel the power and the detachment that comes as you are able to observe without identifying. So again, the ego mind fights with the sense of the person, who is consciousness in its contracted role. And spirituality or religions, they are meant to help you to move from personhood into the states of presence, in the sense, I am. Once you're in the state of I am, the fruit of this I am, or the perfume of this I am, is peace and joy, silence, wisdom. When you disassociate or know I am not merely the body, not merely my conditioning, then you begin to feel yourself not merely as an object, but more in the feel of the subject. And gradually this subjective feeling is shedding any kind of objectiveness that might still remain in it. This is the pull towards the Absolute. I don't know if you follow what I'm speaking now, because many people, they come, they say, this is what my mind is being like this. It really is making my life heavy, it's doing this. But mind really has no power by itself. I want to say something more, but I don't know if you're ready to hear it. See? Mind really doesn't exist. The person also doesn't really exist. What do I mean by exist? Because most people go, what is he saying? What does it mean? It means that it's not fixed, it's not stable, it's continuously changing, it's totally unreliable, so it cannot be regarded as a fact. It's always changing. And it is noticed to be changing. So observing means to go to the noticing place whereby even the sense of the person is observable. Then you'll see that what you call the person, you've been many, many persons in your life. You've tried out many, many characters, many, many roles, and each time you feel, this is who I am. And then somehow you move on and become something else and so on. So none of this can be real. It's not true. So ego also is not true. But you'll only really experience this, really can confirm this, when you're moving out of the state of the person and moving into the higher field of consciousness as presence. When you come to the state of presence, then this will become very easy, what I'm speaking. We don't have to be learning so much. The more inward you go, the less you have to study outwardly. The more inward your attention go to discover your inner being, the less you have to study outwardly. You're not inclined to study lots of books and so on. That is replaced by direct experience, immediate and direct experience, you see. So let's pick it up again from where you start. In the light of what I've just shared with you, you're saying now what?
As it seems to me, I know the fragrance of full surrendering, the sweetness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And something is longing for it, knowing how it is to be without that judgment. Something is longing. And the most painful things, they, for example, like this feeling of the arrogance, I feel it deeply rooted in the body, deeply rooted in the body, as if the body tells me what is right, what I have to do somehow. And here the identifying comes. And something doesn't want to stand it anymore, because remembers the how it to be fully surrendered. Some becomes very painful in that way.
You're going to have to jump over all of that. You're going to have to jump out of all of that. Remember I told you, you have to become the cow that jumped over the moon. What did it mean? I say, the cow that jump over. We grew up with this, I don't know what you call them now. Nursery rhyme. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jump over the moon. La 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 la. But the part I love, the cow jump over the moon. And what I mean by cow jump over moon is this. Everybody will say cows cannot jump over moon. And of course, physically cow cannot jump over moon. So why am I saying you must be the cow that jump over the moon? Meaning that as long as you take yourself only to be the person, then your field of expansiveness is very narrow, very small. Because a person is a very limited form of consciousness. Please listen to what I'm saying here. As long as it persists in you to believe that you're only this person, what your parents told you, what society tell you, and that you're only the body, then you will only know limitations. Even you feel, no, I don't believe in limitations. So, great things like I'm speaking, which is the most simple, in fact. When I say the cow jump over the moon, you must be like the cow that jumped over the moon. you are going to have to jump over your own self, your own ego, completely out of it. Because when I listen, if we are going to solve things merely believing yourself to be a human being, you're going to have to go only to psychotherapists, psychologists, people are going to have to put things inside your body. That's how we handle difficulties and so on. When you begin to understand that you are not just understand in some academic way, but you will begin to follow like you are in satsang. As we are speaking, your attention is just inside confirming, like immediate sadhana, not waiting, not homework, not later, but you are following right here to see, where do you come back to? Where is Mooji pointing to? Why is he saying, don't touch this, don't touch this idea of yourself as a person? Why is he saying, don't do it? Because I don't acknowledge the person to be that important. Because if I am going to relate to you as person to person, we are not going to go very far. We are not. And I take it you came here for self-realization. And if I felt that by coming here, we come many miles to come here, that we are coming here only to have some seminar where everybody go and say we had a good time or something, and it was not for self-realization, I wouldn't bother coming, because I like to stay home. But because it is so alive, what is being pointed, it is so immediate, it is so true, it is so available, it is so what you are, but what stands in the way of the realization of this? What is standing in the way of the recognition of this? Then we are going to look together and I'll show you. You have seen many accounts now of people who have been for many years stuck into a mode of thinking. And in a few minutes, it's been completely destroyed. All these poor identities and all of that has just slipped away. That is the miracle. The miracle of winning yourself back from delusion, delusory thinking. Because that's the only thing that stands in the way of the human being discovering their divinity. Our mindset is the only difference between us, actually. Our mindset, who you believe you are in any particular moment. And we can change very, very drastically from one set of ideas to radically different ideas. And yet none of them are stable. How much energy we are investing in things that won't stay. They're always altering themselves. How much energy we are putting in trying to somehow control forces that you cannot control. And why do we want to control them also? Because of the sense of vulnerability. So I've come to point a very easy way, a direct way, which is not focused only on practice, 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 practice. Practice has its place, but it's more to do with the level you are within your own spiritual maturity. Practice has its place if there is not really another way that some people need at this particular point. Maybe they need, very, very structured, routine sort of like practices. But I'm finding more and more beings like yourselves who you can do it by looking, because you can't. First thing, you cannot develop the self. You cannot perfect the self. The self is your God being, your God self. It cannot be. It's a very big arrogance to think you can perfect yourself. Perfecting the self only means trying to perfect your ego, which is also an expression of consciousness. Why? Because the ego is also the self, but it's in a contracted state. And so you try to be a better person, to be more kind, less selfish, these things. It purifies the egoic identity and makes it much more receptive to subtler truths. So that's what is evolving. That's the evolutionary path. But when you realize the true self, you see that it was always perfect. And one more thing, that you were always this. It's not you're going to discover, oh my God, oh, how strange. Fantastic, but it's strange. No, you're going to say, but all the while, I have been this. This is why I say, even now, you're experiencing the self, but you're not experiencing it consciously. And the ego creates much distortion over that and distraction from that. It is the most natural state. But it has been, what I may say, overlooked. It's like we are missing the obvious. This is what makes it such a paradox, such a mystery. And it is so perfect. But if you keep on identifying as a person, you will not grasp this in its profundity. And what is the difference? Just a twist in consciousness, and you can be out of it. So please, when you're here, be available like this. Don't be thinking, oh, will I ever get it? And I'm sure it's not so easy. And because then you'll do what you've been doing for a long time, which is to put obstacles in front of you, which are not necessary to put. Better you just come and be just empty and open and see what happens. And when I listen to you, in particular now you're speaking, see, energetically it's all a big jumble. It's kind of all... and to pick through that, I feel no, I don't want to do that. Let's try another way. Let's try another way. Let's try to leave all of the things that is concerning you aside for a moment now. Look at that. Just leave everything, all these things, just leave them aside right now. Past identity, what the mind has been doing, surrender, feeling more complete. Leave everything, even the desire for liberation for a moment. Leave everything. And the I that has any sort of substance in it, any identity, leave everything for a second. And let's see if we can do this one.
It seems to be easy.
It seems to be easy.
Yeah.
Yes. But what happened? What's hard about it? You say it seems to be easy.
It seems to be easy.
I mean, you did it? You've done that? Leave everything? Or you done it before?
Yeah, it happens very naturally.
Yes. Okay. And then what happened?
Energetically, it feels very equal now. So,
Yeah.
No jumping. No trumpets, no jumping. Somehow. And no fear towards you.
Yeah.
Also.
Can it be simple like this? Really now? Can it be simple like this? What tends to happen is that something that is come in so simple way, immediate release, huh? But then mind come back and says, well, that was a nice trick, that was quite, but let's get back to reality. Reality is that, your head, your mind is troubling you and blah, 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 and so on, so on, so. And you get caught up in the old habits, old patterns of thinking. Why I have to say this to you, what you now are experiencing is my continuous experience and state. Why should it not be yours?
No reason.
Thank you. But as I said, your mind will come back for a while. And it will come strong. It will come strong. It will find any bit of dirt it can find. And it will come back and it will try and sabotage this perfect state. It will come and tell you, it's all right now, but, what you're going to do when this and, oh, these people are coming, or what, it will bring up it will know exactly what things catch your attention.
Yeah, it knows.
Yeah. You see, because it's been a relationship, you grew up together, So it knows exactly what are the things that catch your attention, and it's going to bring it up. And then to see if that is more powerful than your present state. That's where the battle begins. And very often it seems to win.
I can't say this present state is more powerful or less powerful. It just, I could not say any quality about it.
Yes, in fact, you don't need to even call it powerful because it has no competitor. Nothing can compete with it. Nothing can intimidate it. It is perfectly, perfectly complete. It is empty. To go into trouble, you have to descend into a lower state where you have again identity and mind and like this. Then you start to come into a powerful field of duality. Because even now, as we speak, and you are now in your natural state, it doesn't stop you from going to the shop and buying the things you have to buy, sending your emails and talking to friends. It can all take place in this harmonious state. It's not that, oh, I can't go to the shop because if I see the shopkeeper, I'm going to forget myself. No, nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, this is how it is. Something knows very well this space, but sometimes it also feels too kind of not to just.
Not just you must know this state, you must love this state. Not just, oh yes, I know this state. It won't be, you will not know it for long. You must love this state. You must honor it. You must go to it and contemplate there. You must marinate in it until those days of darkness are over for you. You must really stay there. That is true self-respect. Not just, oh yes, I know what, I can go there whenever I want. No, nobody has succeeded like that. You simply realize, thank you. You're so filled with joy. It's like you have discovered the beloved inside your own heart. And nothing can compete with that.
And at the same time, everything becomes very obvious, and everything wants to be freed. Kind of also these like lower things.
You're fundamental, you have done the main thing, you have realized the true state, your state, and just that alone is already blessing every other aspect of your being, spontaneously. You don't have to go around and switch on the lights in each compartment. No, automatically, it is blessing every other aspect of your expression, is being touched by it. This is the magicality of the being. Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. You can come with me.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste.
2 days ago, on the fire ceremony, I was trying to understand what should I throw in this fire, and I couldn't find anything like particular. So I collected everything, like everything, even my relations to my wife, my parents, everything. There was no fear at all to burn it. It was such a joy. And yes. And you are that fire, and I see you. Every time I see you, this fire became more and more. And later that day, that thing which called mind tries to create some fear. Some monkeys attacked me on the street without any reason. They just jumped on me. And this fear, it just appears. Now I come on the street, empty, nothing, just, and understand that monkeys, they like watching me. So, very clever thing. I don't know where it comes from. So
Yes. It is also something that comes from that kind of mind energy. It creates this. It's like it's testing you out or something, you know. That sometimes after a big opening of insight, something shocking take place, or big resistance come, or judgments come, but then they dissipate. It's not uncommon that this happen, you know. That somebody suddenly wants to pick a fight with you, and you think, "Wow, I'm in my holiest moment. I mean, what's going on? You know? Why would you want to fight me? I wouldn't." You see, but yeah, I think it helps to not to have any mindset at all, and then it goes. It's some power is using is nothing personal from the monkeys. It's just there's some power excite them to and then it's finished. It's finished. It's gone. So yeah, these things do happen. It's true.
yeah, and I said thank you for monkey, like thank you for jumping on it, because it really works. Like, whoa, fear comes, and I can observe this fear. It doesn't affect me, but it just is. So it goes.
It's all part of the grace also. Believe it or not, it's still part of the grace. Then you have to trust. Just trust everything is fine, everything is okay. Even this. Because maybe also sometimes we are feeling invincible, like now nothing can touch me. You see, so you probably don't say that, but you're feeling so good, you feel like nothing can touch me. You see? Then a monkey comes and bites your bottom or something, and suddenly, oh my God, humble again. And can be things like this. Just leave it to life. It's balancing everything out by itself. And so it's very good. Everything that happened, that you brought that to the fire, everything to this fire, and all the attachments, all the things which are seen and unseen, they go to this fire. And how light you feel, light. Then this monkey attack, maybe your mind could have think, oh my God, did I leave something out from the fire? Or, what did I, He said, no, it's okay, it's okay. And you don't have to understand. Not everything you have to understand. You see, this is another thing. You can have a mindset that needs always to understand everything. This means this, and this means that. Why did they come and knock on my door and not the neighbor? And you start thinking, and your mind like needs to have an answer. You know, why did a scorpion come on my bed? And you start to look for all these mystical meanings and stuff. You see? And then if you cannot find a true one, your mind makes one up. Just to say, okay, so that's what it means. So I say you're much better off just to leave things without having understanding what they are about. Just say, no, it's okay. If I'm meant to know, I trust that life will bring it to me. Simple put. It's part of your surrender also, that let life do what life wants to do. I don't have to be taking account of everything. Such a freedom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Very good, very
Thank
good.
you for burning me away, Mooji.
Thank you for what?
For burning me.
Burning
That's-
away is very good. What over there?
Hi, Mooji.
Hello.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all the group for the videos also. Thank you. I feel a lot of gratitude. And when I am in satsang, sometimes some question came in my mind, and then after a while, it's just gone. But I want to look with you to some particular point. And I have like a mini Mooji here that keep telling me, just be silent. And don't make any effort. Just don't make any effort. And then, but sometimes, in this comes this question like, what am I? Who I am? And then I could observe a lot of movement there. Like it's difficult to explain. I try to observe even like where this question is coming from, but I don't stop to asking, you understand? I'm just going backwards. And then I see a lot of movement there, and I see that I'm making effort. And my question is, how can I do self-inquiry without any effort?
No, effort is needed in the beginning. Effort is there, you know. You must have some effort because why? Even in the inquiry, the mind is creating lots of distractions come up sometime. And the effort must be there to keep bringing the attention back, at least to hold the question. Sometimes a true question comes, and then somehow as you're beginning to look towards it, the question keeps changing or going blurred or something. You can't remember what you're supposed to be asking and things like this. So this is that's the kind of, you may call it the kind of fuzz that come from mind itself. Yeah. So some effort is needed. But let me tell you something, if we can make it simple, always stay at the base, meaning remember, whatever you're seeing, whatever is happening, you must be there to perceive it. That's the first thing. You see? Whatever is going on, my mind is saying this and na. Whatever it is, you must be already here to perceive it. If you're not here, who's going to perceive it? So you are here to perceive all of this, however gross or subtle it is, you're here. Now to find out what it is that you are that's here. You see? You say, I'm here perceiving it. For that, a mental answer will not help you. It has to be that it's a revelation somehow. It's an experience, not merely just a sort of like a verbal or mental answer. you see that everything is seen, and rather than going too much into details of them, they keep coming new things, but they're all perceived. If you ask yourself, that which is perceiving everything, can it be perceived? Can it itself be perceived? And really try and follow it. And you can all do this. And we can find out right now. That which is perceiving everything, past, present, future, time, change, relationships, desire, attachments, life in all of its expression, colors, design, whatever it is, that which is perceiving all of these, can it be perceived? You have to look. Not just think only. Try and feel it. Look at it. Look for it.
I feel so much simple thing and so familiar. But you know, it's so simple that even the word simple is too much. Just. And then my mind pops something like, "You are not there yet." And then the self-inquiry starts.
When the mind says you're not there yet, you must find out to whom is it speaking.
Yes.
Who is it speaking to? I want to go back to the point, the question I asked you. Something is watching everything, perceiving, experiencing everything. It's always the same point. It's always here. You never go to your neighbor to ask them about what you are perceiving. You are perceiving directly. Okay? So, that which is perceiving, just go to the very source from where perceiving begins. And my question is, that which is perceiving everything, can this be perceived? Somebody give me some answer, please, about this thing. That which is perceiving all phenomena, can that itself be perceived? You must find out, because when you discover, when you experience it, you will know who you are. This is my question. We're going to show you some fundamental questions, which is going to reveal who you are. This is one of them. Whatever is perceiving everything from inside this body, everything, including memory, sense of future and time, relationships, intention, judgments, whatever it is, the interpreting abilities, all of this is seen because something is awake. That which is perceiving everything, can it be perceived? Meaning, can something perceive it? What does it look like? Does it have a shape? Does it have a size? Does it have color? Does it have weight? Is it male or female? Can somebody please answer from here for me? Tell me this one.
No.
Huh? Nothingness. Nothingness. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, I can't hear what you're doing. I think you know. You stay where you are, the mic. Go into the microphone and tell her. Say. What is there?
Nothing.
That is your experience?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a painful experience?
No.
Do you wish it was another experience?
No.
So the mind is afraid of this answer, you see. And the person's mind is afraid of this answer, no? Because it's not just an answer, you see. It's a discovery. It's not only an answer, it is a discovery. And when you come to this recognition, no? You experience. What is there now then?
It is everywhere.
Everywhere, yes. Tell them, say more.
It is everywhere. It doesn't want to say anything. Just, it's just there.
It is the Supreme Being. It is the source from where all manifestation come. It is the Supreme. This is what you are, you see. The mind tries somehow to prevent you from finding this out. That's the role it has to play for a while. Why? Because you have too much power. You have too much power. So it's going to have to try and confuse you. You see? In order to release your power. Because you get lazy. When you go into the form of a human being, you go to sleep and you forget your power, you forget your joy, you forget your original self. So he has to come and he has to beat you, kick you, and bring confusion. All these things must come so that you can begin to exercise your true power again. You have to be stimulated back into awakening. You have to yearn again to be what you can never not be. Yes. You have to call out from the depth of your being again. You have to say, please help me, guide me home. But if you stay only in the form of the person, listening to the mind and so on, we become arrogant. And the truth will not reveal itself to one who is arrogant. When we are studying and studying and studying and studying to try and find the truth, it's like you overlook its immediacy. It's like a lie. It makes it seem it's away, it's separate. It's never separate. It can never be separate. In reality, there's no separation in anything at all, actually. It's all the one. All this is God, all this is truth. It's only the one, appearing as the many, experiencing through the many, in order to come back to the recognition of its unity. Yes. That was my question for you, you see. You are experiencing everything, your identity, your shape, your family, history, all these things, time, space, change, desires, attachments, fears, hopes, aspirations, all these things. But you, who is perceiving all of this, can you be seen? And by what can you be seen?
Itself.
Yes. Only it can know itself. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Very good.
Thank you, Mooji.
Thank you.
Everything is okay.
Everything is okay. Everything is okay. Even when they're not okay, everything is okay. When you know this inside, your things sometimes have to appear not to be okay, because you are wide enough, strong enough, deep enough, high enough, so that every expression can have its play. Every expression can have its space to express and to exhaust its expression and to fall back again into silence, you see. You remain untouched. You cannot say this of the person because the person is easily tossed about by their own projections. Only the self. You must know you are the self. Not believe this only, but you must know this so deep that this knowledge comes before any other knowledge. You know, I am the self. So every other knowledge sits inside it.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste, darling.
From past 1 week, I'm trying to be in awareness. That block I was talking to you, it was gone. But I feel there are some densities which want to go. And I was in doubtful whether it was egoistic tendencies which are trying to go, or it's my mind's creation. I have been trying to keep out of it. But this is like a cloud which is covering, and I am unable to feel the space that you're talking.
Yes,
Please help me.
yes. You know the sun does not know. It does not know darkness. The sun does not know darkness. Why? Because it's not sunny some days and no sun other days. It is always the same. So it doesn't know darkness. It has no fear about darkness. It's not trying to always, I've got to keep shining because I don't want the dark to come. In the same way, awareness is first. You could not even say the things you're saying without awareness, you see. It is the root of everything. So any amount of things you can put on top of it makes no difference at all. No difference. It's like I can draw a face here. I'll put some glass in there. I can do this. And I can't take it and ask you if you like it and show you. Because it doesn't register, it does nothing to the space that's here. Your awareness self is like that. And yet, it's not as the mind would sometimes try to believe it is, which is like it's dead or stagnant. It is not stagnant at all. It's not dead, it's not sterile at all. It's not boring. It's not lifeless, it's not dead. All these are mind words. The awareness is perfect, you see. Even to say it is pure is not a good word. None of these words are going to convey anything about the awareness itself, you see. And yet, it is that from where all words are arising, all thoughts are arising from this awareness. They arise from the awareness, in the awareness, and are perceived by the awareness itself. And it remains unaffected. But you should by now be able to confirm so easy, but I mean, it is obvious now. It is obvious now that this, but you keep looking at sensations that are coming in the mind or consciousness that creates the sense that something is covered up. Well, it can do that. It can appear to be blocking something, but these are just sensations and belief. They are not realities. They're not true. It's not true. Not from the perspective of awareness. From the perspective of the person, they might seem to be true. Because the person is very much a very anxious entity, easily disturbed by sensations, you see. So this is why you can come from the person to the state of presence. Presence is the place from which you are observing everything. Everything is being observed, you see. But it's still a subtle form of duality because there's the observer, and the observed. It's still a subtle duality. But the observer is not is actually without quality. When you're in the position to observe even the observer, then you're in the unspeakable. What she's just pointed out just now. So these things that you say, like, you know, these, what could you say what they were again? You say what they were?
I said some densities.
Densities, okay.
Which may be, I thought, some egoistic tendencies which need to be cleared.
You must find the one who has the ego. If you are finding it difficult, then look for the one who has the ego. Find the egoic one, the egoistic one. Because without finding it, without looking at it, looking for it, it is coming up like it's a reality or something. It's something true, but it's not true. It's only sensations. These are just sensations. And maybe because of habit of believing in these things, that they create blockages and they're holding some. This is belief, actually. And you believe them into existence. And so they have a force now with them. Otherwise, they're not there. You can easily ignore them. Once you know the self, you have come to the mountaintop of consciousness. Once you know what the self is, everything else is secondary. Everything else is just a movement under it. And nothing can overcome you, overwhelm you. Because you're back in your original place. Now, where is this thing that you're talking about now? Where is it felt?
Where is it?
Yes, where is it felt in you?
It's somewhere at this place, behind.
Somewhere around here?
Yeah, inside.
Inside. Mm-hmm. Since how long is there?
I mean, this sort of thing has been there for very long. But whatever I spoke about 1 week ago, that has gone. But this has been there. I've been observing it for a long, long time.
My suggestion now is just to stop this idea that it blocks you from awareness.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is really not true. It's a sensation that's there. It's been pulling at your attention a lot, and there's a wish for it not to be there, but then it's taken on this extra meaning that is somehow blocking you from experiencing full awareness. And nothing does that at all. Whatever you perceive is arising in the awareness and cannot affect the awareness itself. It's a sensation that is there. Please come up here for me.
There.
Yeah. Take your glasses off for a minute for me. Mooji. So just come here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at you. Thank you.
Shall I sit here? Shall I sit here or shall I?
You can sit there if you want. Do you want to sit there for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, you can do it.
Namaskar, dear Mooji.
Namaskar.
I had been feeling a sense of stillness for some time. And when I stay in that sense, it's so intense. It's like crushing. It's like it's very difficult to withstand it for a longer period of time. As if the whole explosion, as if everything is potentially very explosive. I am not sure how the whole thing is like. Everything is like, I have heard about the words like eternal and all those, but this is something like the sense of time goes off. It's just explosive in its own way. There is nothing I can there is no word, there's no articulation at this point of time I can tell about this. And this just crosses me, and after some time I feel that I would not be able to withstand it for a longer period of time. This previously I was doing meditation and all, but now the state of meditation comes by default. It's while I go everywhere, I drive something, or I am in the toilet or whatever. It's all pervasive. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's very difficult to sustain this state.
Why sustain? Why you are sustaining it, or it's just happening by itself?
It's happening just itself.
So
like,
it's not. You're not sustaining. You're doing nothing for it.
No.
Yeah, so it's happening by itself. And when did the feeling of that it's going to explode start?
If the moment I close my eyes and try to, it's joyful. It's not only joyful. There's no word for it. And you want to enjoy this, and it just like I cannot tell you, Mooji. It's beyond my comprehension. It's that. But at the same time, having said that, sometimes something comes up from somewhere and it tells me, what are the other guys doing? They are lesser mortals. Who am I? I don't know, basically. Why should I get this sense of arrogance? That also comes up. So it's that way, it's a mixed feeling. I mean, so, Mooji, please help.
No, it's something, it's very beautiful. It's just total darshan has happened for you. Of course, the mind comes in. You see, the mind comes in a little bit. It wants to, with this arrogance, it comes. Don't worry, you can just keep disregarding, just keep turning away from that. You will discern when it is mind, because it will speak like that. It will regard, oh, they don't know very much, they are lesser mortals and this type of stuff. You can disregard that. But the pure joy, this pure state of being, this is something totally complete in its own way. I was a bit wanting to know, when you say it's going to explode, what you mean by that. It's going to explode into more joy?
Yes, and something, a joy which probably I am not in a position to withstand. I mean, it's not a very dynamic thing. It's not an explosion like boom, not like that. It's potentially very, very explosive. It's neither, I can say it's a vacuum or it's like solid. It's all pervasive. It's like I see this book, and it goes beyond words, basically. If I look at that post, I see, if I take off the word of that post, it's something inexplicable which just comes out. It's that way. So I don't know how can I go into the higher state? I don't know. I mean, there's no question, in fact. I just wanted to.
Yes.
I had been, it's not suffering, but it's something, some changes happening inside.
Because I know that, you can experience such intense states of joy and stillness also, that it feels like you're compressed into you become like solid emptiness, if I can use a word like that. And you can't move even, because there's so much joy, so much silence, so much beauty. You cannot move. It feels like you're anchored. You're like a mountain. It can happen like this. And sometimes the joy can be so much that it does feel you are going to explode also. But these are sensations in the consciousness. You just be welcoming of them. Don't be afraid of it. As for the word, the thoughts coming up, the kind of arrogance, then also you You have to not to, or you can do the inquiry. Do you practice some inquiry?
I didn't get your question.
Do you practice some self-inquiry at all?
Yes.
Because then you can find out, for whom is this voice, who is this voice talking to? Like, you are lesser, others are lesser mortals than you, and so on. If it troubles you, some people don't have to inquire into this because they immediately dismiss it. They don't, and it has no power. But if it's feeling very strong, then you can take a look at it and sort of bring it in and break it down into smaller components. Like who is the voice speaking to? Like that, who is saying, and for whom? Who is saying, these people are lesser than you, or whatever it is, But if you can turn away from it, you can turn away from it also. This is equally good. How are you feeling at this moment?
And it's static, but it's static, it's totally still, but every time I am in that, all the time I am in that, but it has also got its different flavors, like it's stillness, but it's the same thing, I know, but it's like, those words are not just adding up to what I wanted to say, but it's just having flavors, like,
Yes.
yeah. Something, this was not yesterday, this is today's something, but it's the same thing, so,
Yeah.
So is it?
I'm just wondering, because everything sounds fine to me, except when you feel like it sounds a bit like something something you're not happy about, isn't it?
I'm not, am I self-validated on this? That's probably one of the things. Am I into something? I don't know. So, but this is what is happening.
How do you relate to people when you're in this state?
When people speak to me, and till a point of threshold, I see these things are pretty funny. The activities are funny, like somebody getting very irritated, agitated, or somebody doing something and all, as if in a whole void, something is happening here and there, but it's not that, there's so much of interest there, or like it's not having much of significance out there. But there are also certain threshold where probably I get identified probably as a person, like, I don't know, but then I forget like what I had been doing, probably I exchange a few words with him, but otherwise, till that point, everything looks so funny. I feel why the people are doing this. It's all like inside the void. Some activities are going on. It's that way I relate to the people.
Yes. Later on, at some point, this understanding comes again, that you can understand why people are relating as they do presently, and understand that that is to do with the effects of Maya. You can see that, and be able to communicate with them in a much truer way, not to perceive them as, wow, they're crazy what they're doing only, but more to impart something with them, to them, through the beingness. This is very important, because if we only look and say you're in a state where, oh, the whole world looks completely crazy, like everybody's crazy, the talk is they're crazy, then you cannot facilitate anything. Then you are in a state that people may say it's high, but it's not able to relate. And it's important to see that it is because of Maya, why all are the same, all are the beingness, all are the pure self, but are under some kind of spell. We're under some kind of hypnosis, where we're believing ourselves to be merely person to person, a sort of psychological construct or something, and how that person, which is a contracted or distorted form of consciousness, can be guided back into their original being. That is important. That is an important step also to make.
Thank you, dear Mooji.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. What's that? I hear from you? First, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
About 6 months ago, I was traveling alone in Bali, and I feel the person in me looks at that as having had awareness of true self. I didn't know anything about your teachings or didn't have a teacher or anything like that, and it seemed to be something that could be sustained, but I was terrified of letting go of everything that I knew myself to be in terms of identity, my life's work, and my PhD, all these different things that were going on that I felt like had no meaning anymore. And so I think unconsciously what I did was I chose to go back to sleep. And so I'm wondering about any guidance you could offer. Should I be blessed with that awareness right now in this moment or in the days to come, that I may be able to sustain it better?
Yeah. Yes, sometimes people do come quite spontaneously into a realization of the pure self, but because they don't have the support or someone to guide them through it, they somehow become afraid and sort of go back to the whole way of thinking or something. It is good that we experience that there are people who, without even any intention, comes into the state of self-realization, without even sometimes practicing any particular, taking up any particular practice, come into the state of full realization of the self. It has happened before on a number of occasions. People happen to them like that. So if it should again reveal itself like this, because it must have planted some seed inside you, and that seed will still be alive in there, you see, whatever may have happened. And the cosmos recognizes that it has planted a seed inside its body already, because that seed is much more important than the person you take yourself to be. So it will, at some point, begin to germinate again. I don't know what brought you here, for instance. It must be something that is still alive in you that brings you to a place to try and really either recapture or to be to know a bit more about what happened. So when you're stirred up in that again, has anything happened while you were here? I don't know, when did you come here?
A few days ago.
True.
I think I glimpsed it yesterday in meditation again. I don't know if this is wise to do, but sometimes I say in meditation, I am God, and I can feel the expansion happen. When I think back to the experience in Bali, it was extremely neutral, but one of the most delightful things I've ever felt in a body, Yesterday's experience felt much more like the heart was expanding and like my energetic field was expanding and just could have kept going for a long time, you know?
Yes. All these are ways of the self. They're all ways of the same, different flavors within the one self, manifesting like that. And you will see that all these experiences will come from time to time, unannounced before they're coming and so on. And you are just moving as you do. But maybe this time you will be more available for just embracing the fullness of that realization, just to say, yes, I'm here, and just merge me with you or something. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, madam. Okay. Strong here. You come here. You come for me.
Many greetings, Mooji,
Thank you.
and many blessings. I hope your health improves.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
I have a very practical question. It's also close to a few things that I've heard this morning. When I sit with myself early in the mornings and I meditate, I get into a space that feels vast and beautiful and blissful. It's a place that I don't really want to come down from, but I have boys to feed and daily life to maintain. And I guess my question is, how do you hold on to that feeling and help it to nurture it without feeling that everyday life is a distraction from it? I'm afraid that I'm going to have to wait until my duties are done and then I can reach that.
Yeah, no, you
state?
don't.
How?
You don't at all. I don't. The natural state is that which, whatever your duties in life, whatever activities are performed, none of them by themselves can pull you out of your natural state. This is the truth. It's not an exchange. It's not something like somehow the self moves out of the way because something else is coming along. As soon as you realize what that is, realize yourself, you'll see that it does not come. It's never come and gone. Even now, that's what I'm saying. Even now, you are that, but something seems to obscure or to distort the direct perception of this, and it can, for a while in the early stages, that the more you're engaged with some sort of daily phenomena or whatever it is, then you seem to lose the power to give up the idea that you're maintaining anything also, that you're sustaining or maintaining, because then the mind will use that and say, well, you see, you don't have enough time today to sustain the self. And your believing in that will create, because life is belief. And if you believe that, it will just come, we just play that through, just play out as you failed basically because you didn't give enough time to the self, and that's a very painful thing, So really, drop this idea completely that the self is can be somehow lose its power or you lose your contact with the self or something like this. These ideas, the sooner they are dropped, the better it is, and you'll see that it is continuous. It is continuous. It's never been broken. It's never, not one thread of the self has been broken at any time in the history of time. It is just not like that. But the mind will create certain notions that make it feel like that's happened, that you lost the self and all of this. And also, the self is not a state. It's not a state that you go into and come out of. The sense that we go into and come out of it is just it's a more diluted form of truth. It's not that you come in and go out of it, because you may have glimpses, we may have glimpses of some fragrance of the self. You get a glimpse of this. And it is to somehow whet the appetite or to build up some aspiration to go more deeply. And so it knows what way to introduce itself again in that form. If it is needed more, just that to give you a little taste, so that then you develop an appetite for that and a hunger for it, rather than to say fully manifest in you and then it's taken for just a blast of experiencing and then it's gone and you want some more later. So everything is fine if you come to trust it. But the important thing is to come to the full realization of the self inside the heart. That is the important thing. Then you see that all these ideas about coming and going and losing it and finding it, and then it was great and then something else happened, all of this will just become redundant for you. You see?
So I think what I'm looking for is more ways of integrating so that I can bring that feeling with me.
Also, that's another thing I'll tell you, please forget about it. Don't try to integrate or to balance or to harmonize anything, because a human being cannot do it. You're talking about the natural functioning of the cosmos, of the universe, and of the self in its true spiritual expression. Nobody can balance it. If you had to balance it, you would fail at many points. You see, I mean, we're expecting huge things to say that maybe you can balance the forces, and how can I know what you mean. You see, because like I have to do this and that, and how can I bring this state more into here when I'm working, and so that it stays still strong and it's sitting in the presence of this state and so on. But I only tell you, just realize the self, and it will do all of that. It won't do it for you, it will do it as you.
Thank you very much.
Very good, thank you. Yeah. You can come here.
Namaste, beloved Mooji.
Namaste.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I felt I had to come up to the microphone. I would like to share, and it comes from a space where all the questions you've ever been asked have been asked from, and all the answers you've ever uttered have come from. It comes in love from the heart. I wrote this note fresh, so it's a short note. Can I take time to?
Okay.
A little bit nervous, but no nervous. Thank you. Thank you. In this existence, grace has always been here. Grace is always here. 18 months ago, I received a YouTube. It was a Mooji YouTube from my brother or sister. And grace played its trump card. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As I listened, I recognized the voice as my own voice. The one voice, the one heart speaking. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dear beloved Mooji, I don't have anything to report, but if a report uttered, it would be in Rishikesh, not in Rishikesh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In gratitude and love, thank you for taking me home to realize the self. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I bow at your lotus feet. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. This is so beautiful because, we talked before that even some simple things, that if you just start at home and even just to put your hand like this, like just to move, just move and say, thank you. Just move like this. No stories, no reports, nothing. Just thank you. Just like this. You can do this, walk around in your room, in your garden, anything you want. When you are brave enough, you can do it outside if you want, but you just like this. Thank you. Thank you. Just this posture, this posture. Thanks to existence, thanks to God, thanks to truth. Thank you, love. Thank you. This, and you will see that it will wash all things, all impurities out of your heart, out of the mind. Just this thing. Simple, joyful, light, immediate. And then when you go out onto the street, you go about your thing, inside your heart, your posture is still doing this, to this. When you are like this in life, you cannot have bad feelings towards anybody. When you are like this in life, they won't have bad feelings towards you also. Not because you are doing this visibly to them, but your heart is like that. And your presence and what you shared is very much this for me. You see? You don't have to have a lot of things to say, but you imbibe that in your life, your very being. It radiates this perfume of love and peace and joy, So you can try that whenever you want. Just you. And this you do. You there?
Excuse me, may I ask for help for translation, Rishi?
What's your language?
Russian.
Russian.
But it's...
Russian, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mooji.
Thank you.
Now I'm in situation
Your English sounds good enough, no?
Okay. I just maybe for help. Yesterday I had a news that my father dead.
Yeah.
And now I'm in different states. First one, when I am in wild and in emotional feelings, like when I'm crying and suffering. The second one, when I'm and it's also absorbed, these feelings, emotional. And the second one state is when I feel a peace, when I feel grace, when I feel even gratitude and even some joy. And it looks like I'm in the ocean and very big waves comes. And sometimes I'm underwater and I couldn't breathe. And sometimes I'm underwater and I could feel everything. And I even don't have any questions because I understand this. What can I do? Just observe everything and just be in this. I couldn't make any force. I realized this.
Yes.
But I just now I couldn't say that it's hard, but it looks like I want to be on the coast. Is it possible? I know it's possible.
Yeah. So you want to be on the coast? What it means?
Just it's hard to be underwater.
I see.
Yes, it's hard, but I know I'm come back to Russia today, and it's hard to me. Will be in this space of sorrow, space of emotional crying, something like this. And I know inside me I have a power to absorb everything. But it's like an exam. I can pass it or I can fail it. And I want to pass it.
And passing it would mean would mean what?
To be a witness.
Yes, yes. I would say, whatever happens, don't try to control what is how the expression of life is around you. If you're going back, you're going to be surrounded by family. There's a time of grieving or so on that may happen. Don't wish you don't feel anything. I would not say you must wish that you don't feel anything. No, let the feeling be there. Let it be spontaneous. Feel what you feel, but at the same time be aware that you are observing all of this. Keep the power just in this awareness. It's very beautiful to let things happen naturally. You see, and still at the same time, there's a space in you, which you already been feeling anyway. The space of a sense of detachment, where there's grace and peace is there, and yet at the same time, outwardly there's the grieving and so on. I would just use it as an opportunity. Don't determine beforehand how you want to feel. Leave all of that. Just remain as the self. Just remain as the self. Let everything else happen, but you stay as the self. And that will be a very, very harmonious experience for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for support.
Okay, thank you. Very good. You tell me, I want to see what you said today.
Hello, Mooji.
Hello, darling.
Thank you. I want to expose the fear. When I try to open, I have a lot of stuff, energy coming up.
Yeah.
And something identify and try to repress. And I would like to clearly see where I am, who I am, when this experience comes. Because it feels like it's a blockage. It blocks something to fully happen. So.
So you feel something wants to come out.
To come out.
It wants
burst.
to come out.
Yes.
But then some fear comes and
That I'm not going to control anything. That the body is going to go in every direction.
Right. This is So this is the mind and the old patterns. This is trying to close things down. Why? Because if you release yourself from all of this, you're going to be so free. You see, you're going to be very, very free. And you know it somehow inside. That if this is burped out, thrown out, then behind it is a tremendous space. And your true self and nature can just really be sitting in the right place again. So this fear is coming. It's kind of, no, you must be, this is to do with maybe some upbringing or something, some habit that you must suppress. You're suppressing something because if it comes out, it's just going to look terrible or something. It's going to be too much. So, it's, you take this risk.
Yes, and I feel it's also linked to the self-image also.
Yes.
What is going to look like.
Yes, you're never going to know what it's going to look like. You're never going to know beforehand what it's going to look like. You see? Whatever it's going to look like, when each person's view is going to be different. You're not going to be concerned about that. Once you start to release all this stuff, you feel so totally right where you are. You're going to be just right where you are, you see? This is not the time for the mind. You don't have to get the mind. Don't let the mind, don't give a seat for the mind. Don't be so kind to your mind. Says, mind, you stay here when I go through this. And he says to you, look, just remember what I told you. Don't lose all of it, because people are around you, and they're going to see that you're quite a weirdo. You see? You have to be willing to take it on and say, listen, I am ready to be seen to be a weirdo, rather than to hold on to all this stuff that I am not good enough, I'm never going to get it, I'm not, and all this type of thing.
It's, also, I don't want to make a big show out of it. Like, I don't know.
This is again mind. Mind has been talking to you for so long. Don't make a big show out of it now. Because, people just think that you're putting it on. And he's coming from every door he can come. He's trying every door to come in. You're going to look so stupid. Don't try that. Don't do this. You contain yourself. What will people think of you if they see how you scream like a monkey or something? And you're going to be really, in Rishikesh of all the places. Look what's happened to you. You're okay there like this? Or you want to sit on a chair?
I'll go to a chair.
Huh?
How should I continue now? How give you something to go further?
So, what's going to happen? Something today or tomorrow?
Yes, I don't know. Today, I hope today.
How are you feeling now? What's happening here? You feel stirred up?
Yes. And I just feel I want to expose because I feel very ashamed. And I know that it's identity hiding, but I cannot see really. So I need to trust. And yeah.
You're right there. Right now, all your powers are coming together right now to support your release, in fact. You see, nothing is supporting your postponement. Nothing is really supporting your over control, over self-control. You see, it's like a perfect opportunity to just be set free. What do you want now? Tell me.
What?
What do you want now?
Just to.
Yes. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yes. 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 Don't hold back now. Yes. 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 Don't hide him anymore. Don't protect him anymore. Don't protect him anymore. Yeah. 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 This is it. You release it, release him. It has never served you. It has never served you. Yes. Throw him out. Throw him out. Yeah. Yes. Yours must become a empty house. Yes. Yes, yes. Keep going. Yes. 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 Come on. Yes. Come on, you can. You let. You go and sit over there for me. No, go and sit down for me. Okay. Sit here, so you can sit with me. Yes. 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 It is good. It is good. It is all good. Yeah. Yes. Go, go. Yes. Go. Don't contain it now. Don't hold it. Yeah. Yes. 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 That's it. Throw it out. Throw it out. Throw it out now. Yeah. Yeah. Just throw it out. Yeah. That's it. Keep going. For so long, actually, many beings, we have absorbed so much. Absorbed so many things. And nobody told you how to. Nobody could take it away from you. And they feel like you have to protect them. You feel shame. And we should all be supportive of this releasing of energy. We should all be supportive of this to encourage each other to get rid of it. It is not madness. It's madness to keep it inside yourself. You see? And this is what Satsang is for also, to give support to those who feel suffocated by such suppressing, and to be cleansed of all of this. So there's a place for this. There's always a place for this. So if it is now to let these things out, you can throw them out. You can throw them out. Don't be ashamed. There's no shame in being true. Okay? And others, you will help others also who see that it is quite okay to be released from this. To walk, don't be walking around like some time bomb, suppressing so much. No one should be here apologizing for your existence. You see? Always know that the Spirit of Truth is with you, to support you, that cares for you, that loves you, and here to bring you home. Don't be afraid of this. So, it is good. We should never be ashamed to see beings who need to release this. Everyone needs to release. It's very good. Okay.
I've been craving for this freedom. Since even when I was 18, I've been asking what is true love. Since many years, I've been saying, I want ultimate freedom without knowing what is this freedom. And I feel ready, I feel courageous to jump. I want to jump into this fire, I want to know. I've been thinking that this is my last birth. That's it, God. Whatever you want, I would do it. I want to jump, I want to do it. Tell me what is the way, I would do it.
You are already in the fire.
I don't know what is it.
You are already in the fire. There's no how to do it. Your heart's longing, it need not be something, it's not being postponed now. Don't just
I
let
don't
go
want
of
to
your mind.
postpone.
Just let go of your mind's notions about it. You're here, you know?
My heart has been craving for it. My soul has been craving for it. I don't know whether it's postponement or not. But I want to know. I want it now.
Yes. That desire must be continuing. It has to continue. It must not be only from an emotional outburst or something. It has to be consistent. There must be a growing continuity about it. Stay with it, because if it is genuine, it will take you somewhere. You say you want this freedom, yet this freedom is what you are. It is there already. Only to remove what appears to obscure it. Satsang helps you to do this. You see, we have talked about nothing but that since we've been here. It's always pointing you to that.
I have been meditating since when I was 18.
Water should go over there. Some water should go over there. Yes.
It's not just a fit of emotion. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a freedom that, yes, I have the courage now to ask, now
Very
to
good.
stand in front of my master. I can ask. I can ask somebody who knows it. I can have that courage to be naked, to be in front of you. You know, I've been sitting among, yes, it's easy to hide, you know,
Yes.
sitting, but to
So
be
now
really
in this
front of a
moment, then in
master.
this moment now, I want you then to let go of everything, every ideas that you have been holding on to, including even the idea of freedom for now. Just let everything go now for one moment while you're here with me. Don't hold on to any ideas or any desires or any memory about anything. Just be you only, empty of all things. Can you do this? You can do it. You can do it. Then you let go of them now as you're here. Nothing about today or tomorrow and this is what I've always wanted and please help me to find this. Just be completely empty of it now. No waiting, no hoping. Yes. No thinking. Yes? Now this space. What is in this space? This is freedom. This is freedom. No lights, no spectacles. This. This is your true space. I would just like to say now, just that you sit in your stillness. There is a powerful stillness and silence which is pervading this space now. Don't raise any more questions for now. But sit in this stillness, in this silence. It is introducing itself to you. It is not different from you. You had to plunge underneath the surface of consciousness. To be again in the depth of your own self. Sometimes some cleansing has to be somewhere to take out some of this dross. But now feel the space of being. That silence, that depth. This is grace, you see. Very good. Okay. We have what is it? What were you going to play today? I think we leave it for the moment. So.